Welcome back to A Week Around the Nest, Episode 5. I'm your host, Sam Montag. Well, the Hawks have continued to struggle throughout the month of July, but there have been some bright spots for sure. One of those bright spots was a big 8-1 victory at Chatham on Thursday night, and one of the highlights was the hitting. The hitting for the Hawks has been phenomenal still throughout the entire course of the season, and while they've struggled to get runners across the plate, they have had no problem with getting runners on base. One player that has continually found his way onto the base paths has been Ryan McKay. The second baseman has been phenomenal all season long, and Graham Nash caught up with the Michigan State Spartan in this week's episode of A Hawks View.
All right, thanks so much, Sam. Ryan went through a little bit of a cold stretch, 0 for 8 over 2 games, but man, the response was incredible. 3 for 3 with 2 walks. What do you feel like went into that performance after a cold streak?
Yeah, I think it's just trusting the process and understanding that that's baseball, and unfortunately it's going to happen, but the game will always pay you back. And I just stuck to the process and just try to find barrels. That game I did well, and just going to try to keep that going.
A lot of new guys right now that have joined the team. How do you feel like the group's been meshing as of late?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because, brand new guys come in, you got to, rebuild the chemistry, but it's also fun doing that, meeting brand new guys. So we really enjoy it, and we like the challenge of, brand new team, every couple weeks, honestly.
Have you guys been doing any activities or so to kind of get gelled a little bit better?
Yeah, off days we always hang out, have a good time. It's fun.
That's great. And looking forward, halfway through the month of July, it's been a little bit of a struggle. How are you guys trying to turn things around right now, just in the dugout, just between yourselves?
Yeah, I think right now it's, the games in the past, you got to learn from them. You don't hold on to it, and you go into the night with a fresh brain, and you forget about the past, and we just try to lock in, the season starts today kind of mentality.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Sam?
Thanks so much, Graham. Well, like Ryan said, the Hawks continue trying to take all the positives of the previous game while leaving the negatives behind in the past. This can be a tough job for the players alone, but luckily they have a phenomenal coaching staff behind them to support every step along the way. After a brief off week, we're happy to announce that Catching Up With Cogliano is back and better than ever, as Gio Collada caught up with him before the game against YD.
Thank you, Sam. Welcome back to Catching Up with Cogliano. Giovanni Collada with bench coach Rich Cogliano. And coach, we missed you last week. What were we up to?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have a lot of responsibilities away from here. I own a business, and things are kind of busy. So I was busy with a lot of different things, but I'm here now, so I hope that makes up for it a little bit.
We're certainly glad you're back. Unfortunately, this team is going through a bit of a rough patch. How do you as coaches handle this kind of time?
Well, it's hard enough with when you keep the same team, but when you have the turnover, and I haven't been here in a few games, so I'm coming in meeting 10 new guys, whatever it is. Like someone just told me at the Turtle, we have to get everybody on board pretty quick, all kind of rowing in the same direction, and that's why I'm here. That's my job. So we're going to have a little meeting tonight and get everybody cooking.
Have you ever seen a flurry of roster moves that big?
No, last year it was we had similar turnover, but it was all sporadic. This year it was all kind of at once. I saw a BC guy got drafted. I'm sure you were excited about that, Josiah Ragsdale. So congratulations, Josiah. I know you watch Hawk TV as often as you can. But I was shocked that a Boston College player got drafted, but I was happy.
I don't know what to respond to that particular part of it, but what's the greatest challenge of roster turnover in such great magnitude like that?
Well, first of all, the biggest challenge is getting the old uniforms back, right? And then once you get the old uniforms, then it's trying to find the ones that fit the new guys and hoping it all kind of happens that way. But no, it's, again, a lot of these kids have to come in, and we were just talking about, I was out at shortstop with the guys, we're talking about getting used to the wood bats. If they haven't been in summer ball, or they've just been working out, then they've been hitting probably with aluminum and metal, and we need them to get used to the wood bats as soon as possible if we're going to make a run at this thing.
What are some of the things that you as coaches will do to facilitate the process of the adjustment?
A lot of BP, early work. They're all with Sean's here at noontime for early work if they need it. And basically just working on it. If we see something, Mitch sees a lot of stuff with swings while he's pitching, and he'll go in and talk to him. But it's kind of, and then talking to the other guys, saying, hey, how'd you adapt so quickly, and getting some advice. It takes everyone a minute.
What's one of the biggest turning points that you in your career, whether it's on the Cape or beyond, have seen in a slump turning around?
Well, Alex Lodi's couldn't hit a watermelon with a tennis racket last year, and now he was the player of the year in the ACC.
Now, new Chicago White Sox as well.
New Chicago. Congratulations, Alex. Again, I know you watch the show every day, and Lodi's a great kid, and we're very happy. One thing I want to tell you, all three of the guys that lived with me last year got drafted, and what's the reason for that?
That they live with you?
My wife's cooking. Meatballs. It's always meatballs. Congratulations, Aaron Savory to the Indians, Cade Crossland to Crossland St. Louis Cardinals, and Cade Brown to the A's.
And your guy, Kane Kepley, going to the Cubs. What do you make of that?
Well, you finally give me the $100 he owes me. No, he's I'm very happy. I couldn't be more happy. No one deserves it more. He made himself a couple $1 million, so God bless him. They're getting a great player, and I'm sure they'll do fine.
Always happy to have you here, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Happy to be here. Nice sunny day. I'm hoping to get some sun. You know, sun's supposed to be good for your demeanor and disposition. I've been a little cranky lately last couple of days, so I'm happy to get some sun. You look like you need a little sun.
I do need a little sun.
Someone who's Sicilian, you're supposed to.
I should have more sun than I do. Where do you recommend I go for that?
The sun.
Like the beach, the baseball games?
Yeah, just go sit on top of the dugout or out at second base or whatever.
Should I be doing games with my shirt off? Is that it?
I would say yes, you should. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about having a calendar for all the interns, like an intern of the month calendar, where you guys could pose on the beach with your shirts off or something. I think all the ladies would love that. I think we'd get a lot more people in the stands.
Let's make it happen. Sam?
Thanks so much, Gio, and thank you, Coach Cogliano. You never fail to entertain us, and you also never fail to push the interns further than they thought possible. Well, while the players have been struggling a little bit on the field, that doesn't mean that they haven't still had some excellent plays. Graham Nash and Gio Collada have more in this week's episode of Best of the Nest.
Thank you, Sam. Welcome to week 5 of Best of the Nest with Graham Nash. I'm Giovanni Collada. Graham, a difficult week for the Harbor Hawks, 5 losses in a row, but a win last night against Chatham to build up some momentum headed into the All-Star break.
Yeah, it was a really clean performance. Maybe the best we've seen from them, not just in the month of July, but over the entire season. The pitching was good, the hitting was good, the defense was phenomenal, and we've got 2 defensive plays, speaking of.
A defensive play starts off our highlights this week as Charlie Bates made himself a dive at Catching. Check it out.
Top 3, 2-run ball game, and this ball is taken for a ride into center. Check the left side of your screen, there's Charlie Bates. A nice little dive. Let's take a better look at it though. Just kind of came into the frame at last second. Charlie Bates, a better look at him here. Full sprint, lays out for it. Nice play. Out in center. Hyannis wasn't able to get the win that day, Gio, but still a great play from Bates and sets up a good offensive play we got next.
Jake Schaffner went yard for the first time and sure made it count. Check it out. Top 4, Hyannis already has a run with an Owen Prince RBI single. What does Jake Schaffner do with the bases loaded? Deposits a ball onto the berm. Deep part of the ballpark, straightaway right center field, Jake Schaffner. First grand slam of the summer for Hyannis to really give the Harbor Hawks the advantage in this game, both on the scoreboard, obviously, and in the side of momentum. Did not look back after this, and Schaffner with all smiles as he crosses home plate. Schaffner with a grand slam to really take Chatham out of that game and give Hyannis its first win since July 9th.
Now our last play, another defensive one, and while the last one we saw Schaffner took the team out of the game, this play we're about to see kept a team in the game. Miles Davis with a fantastic defensive play on the infield. Top of the 8th against YD, no outs in the inning. This ball just cued right over to third, and Miles Davis barehands it and makes it just in time. An important first out of the inning, and it kept Hyannis within 1 run at this point, heading nearly into the bottom of the 8th. Hyannis did lose that game as well, like the Charlie Bates grab that we saw to begin the highlight show against Catching, but a phenomenal play from the third baseman.
A phenomenal week of highlights all around, even if the wins didn't come for Hyannis. Sam Montag has you for the rest of the show.
Thanks, guys. There were phenomenal plays up and down the roster this week, and that Jake Schaffner home run really brought life back into this offense. Well, while the offense has been returning back to normal after that game in Chatham, so has the pitching. Graham Nash has more about the pitching, specifically about how it came back in Chatham and was better than ever.
All right, thanks so much, Sam. Yeah, the pitching kind of struggled early on in the week. It was really tough, especially for the relievers. We got a couple pretty good starts, but the relief pitchers struggled. That is not the same at Chatham. In Chatham, the entire pitching staff had a phenomenal outing, starting with one Tsubasa Tommy. Tommy went for a season-high 5 innings in only his 3rd start of the season. It was phenomenal. He struck out also a season-high 6 batters, only walked 1, and he allowed 1 run, which was earned on a homer. But other than that breaking ball that he left over the plate, his stuff was phenomenal. Again, doesn't have the best fastball in terms of velocity, but his movement on all of his pitches really helped him. And then after Tsubasa Tommy, it was a great day from Chris Diaz. Diaz came right back in, pitched 2 really strong innings, allowed 2 hits, but no runs, kept it clean, set the table for Zach Edwards to come in, pitch the last 2, and he kept it as clean as the other guys before him. It was a really complete performance, really the most complete performance we've seen from this Hyannis pitching staff in the month of July. There's always been a couple mistakes, a couple hit batsmen, a couple errors, a couple wild pitches. That was not the case at Chatham, and as we saw, Hyannis got a really good result because of it. So going forward, going into tonight's game as we were recording this against Falmouth, it's going to be really important for that pitching staff to keep things going just like they did. It's going to be so important for those relievers to build off of good starts from the Hyannis starters. We'll see if they can do it tonight, and we'll see if they can do it after the All-Star break. Back to you, Sam.
Thanks so much, Graham. That game at Chatham really was phenomenal for the pitching staff, and across the board, the pitching and defense looked far better in Chatham. Well, as the players look to get their groove back on the field, the fans never lost it here at McKay Park. We continue to have packed houses every night, and it was highlighted this week by Veterans Night on Wednesday. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of A Week Around the Nest. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Sam Montag. I've been your host, and we'll see you next week.